Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about getting items from the dollar store that you can use in your quilting. Why not save money when you can? So then you can always buy that fabric that you have been eyeing but didn't want to pay the price for. And so today we're just going to talk about some things that I have picked up at the dollar store for very inexpensive to do my quilting projects with. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Jackie Russell and I am with Jackie Russell Creates, where we talk about everything quilting. I want to inspire you to make traditional patchwork quilts or some art quilts, whether they're big or small. So let's head on over and start talking about ways that we can save some money in our quilting projects. So the first item that I picked up at the dollar store was this lint roller. I like to use the lint roller for one because I do have a cat and she likes to help, and so it gets all her hair off my projects. But it also works great if you have that love-hate relationship with the seam ripper and you're always having to take some seam out, and it leaves those little spiky threads up. This is real great to run over that and it will get those threads right out for you, so no nitpicking to get those threads out. So a must-have from the dollar store. The next one is a cookie cutter. I couldn't find mine. They have to be packed away in the Christmas stuff, but you can get all kinds of different shapes of cookie cutters, and you can trace the outside or you can trace the inside of them, and you can use that for your applique on your quilts. So you don't have to design or come up with a new shape or whatever. Just use a cookie cutter, and you can get them from little small ones up to some bigger size ones. So great idea. Use your cookie cutters for applique. The next item that I picked up were these garden gloves. I use these when I'm doing free motion quilting, and I look for the ones that have the textures on the fingers because that helps grip your fabric. So these just have little rubber polka dots on them, but you can find any kind that you want, and these work great to do your free motion quilting on your machine. So why pay a big expense when you can get from the dollar store, and they work just as well, and if they wear out, it was $1. Okay, the next item I like to pick up from the dollar store are these plastic cutting mats. You can get them in colors or you can get them in clear. I picked clear this time, and I like to use these for templates. So you've seen a pattern where you have to cut out a bunch of shapes to either English paper piecing or to also do your applique. I like to trace them onto these cutting mats because it gives it a little thicker material or edge to trace around versus the flimsy paper that can bend up and stuff. I will just take one of these. This one comes with two, I think, in it. Yeah, 2 pieces in there, and you can get quite a bit of templates, and then I just put them in an envelope with the description of what's in that envelope, so then I can always go back and pull out the shapes. So a great way to make templates when you're cutting out several of the same shape or tracing of the same shape. The next thing is I like to get these soft bristle makeup brushes. These are really nice to use to get the lint out of your bobbin casing area. Anywhere that I'm finding dust or fabric pieces, I like to use this because when you are using it, it picks up real nicely, and then you just wipe it off and keep on getting that dust out. There are a couple different sizes. This is just my favorite size here. You can also get them in a package. I think there was like 3 of the multi-size. So it's just the soft bristle makeup brush. The next item is tweezers, and I couldn't find just individual tweezers at my dollar store. So I actually picked up this safety kit, which is really nice. I use the tweezers to kind of help push things under my needle that has small edges. I also like to use it to push down on detailed appliques why I'm, ironing to make sure it don't move, especially when you get them smaller pieces. It also helps when you thread your needle. On mine, I have a self-threading, and so it just leaves this little loop, and you're trying to push your finger in there and not bend your needle. These are really great to get in there and pull out that thread. Plus, they came with these little scissors. Sometimes you can't find them. You got a handy pair of scissors. But it also has Q-tips, and Q-tips are also great to get that lint and fabric stuff out of the bobbin compartment. So I always have these on a emergency hand, and then I just leave this little kit in my storage in the front of my sewing machine, so I always have it. The next is a shelf liner. I like to use this for multiple things. I actually use this right now is to I just cut a piece and I put it underneath my pedal, and it helps keep it from sliding when I'm pushing on it, from sliding it across the floor. I have hardwood floors. It also works great on carpets, but you're always chasing your pedal down. By putting this lining under there, it keeps it from sliding around. You could also put it on underneath your sewing machine to help so it's not sliding across the table. I put a little piece of it in a corner of my cutting rulers to help control so they don't slip as well. So this has a great use, multi-purpose use for this handy little item here. The other one is safety pins. Yes, they say you have to have basting pins and all of this, but you can use these little safety pins that you get from the dollar store. Yes, they're a little more flimsy. You may have to replace them, but in a pinch, these work great. So I just picked up safety pins from the dollar store. You can never have too many of them as well. The other thing I picked up was some adhesive hooks. These are so handy that I put it on the side of my sewing machine. Each one of my machines have one, and it's great to put my little snippets here. So then I know where they're at. I'm never searching for them, and they're out of the way. So when I snip off my thread, I hang it back up, and they're right there. I make sure that it's not in the way of the knob and that they don't hang off the edge and get in my way as I'm pushing buttons and stuff over here. These are great. These ones hold up to a pound. Your scissors aren't that heavy. You can also, use them for a variety of other things in the sewing. You can attach them to your wall and hang some rulers up on them. A handy little item there. The next item I picked up that most people don't think about is colored pencils. I use colored pencils when I am designing my quilts or my patchworks. This way I can color them out on the graph paper and see if I like my color choices that I am picking or not. It gives you a better visual of what your patchwork would look like. I just picked up a package of these, and I just got these down the school supply section. The next ones are buttons. I have so many buttons, I just didn't bring any out here. But buttons are great to embellish your quilts with. Your mug rugs, any of your projects, you can always embellish with a button. So I pick up any button. Anytime I'm in the dollar store, I look to see what kind of new buttons they picked up. I make sure to have just the plain circle ones because they make great flowers, the centerpiece of a flower, or eyes. The next one is ribbon. Ribbon, once again, is great for embellishing your quilts. You can also use them for, I tied a bow on a Easter basket that I made and attached it with the ribbon. I also pick up this mesh. It's called ribbon, but it's like a mesh fabric. This is great to do as a overlay on some of your quilts. On some applique, you can get, this one's a decorative one, but you can get just plain mesh ribbon. This is organza material. So look for those, especially during the holidays. You can find some big variety of these, or down the floral section. You can find just plain ribbon, decorative ribbon, and then this mesh organza ribbon that's a little bigger. And then I pick up fabric. Yes, it's $1 and it's going to be cheaper. It's probably going to fray a little more, but you still can use this in your quilts. I like to use these as for my mug rugs. I use these for my applique. Don't be afraid to, just because it's inexpensive fabric, not to use it, because there's a variety of things that you can use with this. You may have to put a stabilizer on with it. I have not had to do that, and I haven't had a problem with the fabric. I've gotten a variety of fabric from there. This is just plain cotton. This is kind of like a wool textured cotton. They also come in bundles now at my dollar store. Experiment, play with these. Even if you just want to try out, say, a block and see if you like that block, use this cheap fabric before using it on cutting up your other fabric. In the sewing world, we call it as a mock-up. So, you know, you can use that as the dollar store fabric as a mock-up to see if your pattern's the way you are expecting it to be. You know, sometimes we think it in our head and it's not coming out just right. I would rather use inexpensive fabric than my good fabric. And the last thing that my Dollar Tree was out of, it is a flannel back tablecloth. If you can find a flannel back, they're great for using as design boards. Like, I would just attach mine to the wall behind me and be able to attach my block pieces up on there and be able to see the layout. They're really great. So if you can find one, that'd be awesome. My dollar store, they're remodeling both of them, and so they were out. But I would look for a flannel back tablecloth. So if you found this video helpful, got some ideas of what you can pick up at the dollar store, please give it a thumbs up and comment below what you're going to look for the next time you're at the dollar store. I'm always looking for something unique. If there's something you have picked up at the dollar store that I did not mention today, leave it in the comments below, because you never know, someone else may find that very helpful and useful. Who knows? I may go pick it up and give it a try myself. And if you're new here and you feel like sticking around and seeing some more videos where I give tips and tricks and make projects, then subscribe below and hit the notification bell so you know the next time that I upload a video. And I'd also love to see your projects. We have a community over on Facebook. The link will be down in the description. I'd love to have you over there, and you can display and post your projects that you're currently working on. Ask for advice and tips. We can help each other out. Coming up on screen will be a link to another tips video or playlist where there's a bunch of videos of all kinds of different tips and tricks. So until then, happy quilting, my friends.